good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Hager-Hershey-Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted, as always, once again live from the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Rex Brewer along with Dane Fuelling. And Dane, I've been told that there are 12 guests for tonight's show.
We have all 12 coaches on the docket tonight.
The dais. On the dais.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We have 12 teams to reveal to our listeners for the team state coming up here in just a couple weeks. We're going to begin with the 4A coaches, and then we're going to shift gears down to 1A, and then we're going to go to 2A, and then we're going to end with 3A because, as we talked about earlier this week on our broadcast on WZBD, we've got 6 teams to invite for 3A.
You're causing me some issues here because my wife told me I have to dust the basement for that January 1st show.
Well, is the judge coming? Are you coming?
Coming to Judge, be there.
You bringing a +1? Okay. Oh, he's working on something. It should be a good time.
My refrigerator does not have any blue and white cans in it, so you got to take care of that.
Well, we can figure that out. Hey, we had a busy week this week on air. Of course, we had Belmont and Snyder on Tuesday, and I know there's a lot of talk about Snyder. They just got their season started last Saturday, then we saw them on Tuesday, and they had a rough go of it on Saturday. I think they went 1-4, maybe 2-3. The General not having the best of days this weekend. But honestly, I was fairly impressed with what I saw from Snyder that early in the season. I think if you take Belmont or South Adams or Adams Central and you wrestle them on November 16th or 18th or like that early in the season comparative to where Snyder was in the football season, I think you would have gotten similar results. I did see that their 165 was back this weekend. They still had a forfeit, and they were within 12 points in all of those matches. So I think that Snyder team still has room to grow. They've got some fighting spirit in them. We saw it on Tuesday,
even amongst the coaching staff.
But I think that they're going to be a pretty good team, and I think that Carroll Regional, when you talk about some of the teams involved there, Coach Oberlin at Homestead, Coach Lynn at New Haven, Snyder, who else am I forgetting? And Garrett.
Yeah.
I think that's a really competitive regional and should be a lot of fun. And then, of course, on what night was that? Wednesday? Thursday? What night were we together for Adams Central?
Thursday.
That was on Thursday night. Coach Culp's got a really young team. Adams Central, I think, bounced back really well from their loss on Tuesday. I think Adams Central really wanted to win that duel. It was a little bit disappointed that they didn't, but they come back. They wrestle well on Thursday. We got a nice highlight clip that we got a lot of publicity on. That was a lot of fun.
I must say that you were tested on your broadcast play-by-play skills in one match.
It was an interesting one, but
the key to broadcasting, you have to keep talking. When you just go dead air silent because you're befuddled, it's not a good thing.
Well, Denny did the same thing on The Witness, I feel the same way. He called him a fancy pants, and I should have used that term. I didn't have that in my...
Well, see, they have the advantage. You can see what he's doing, and you don't have to say anything, but you kind of have to lay it out there for him.
And then on Saturday, I had Adams Central as they wrestled Mechaniqua, and then Adams Central as they wrestled Avon. Rex, I'll tell you what, that Avon and Adams Central match was really, really close. I was just telling Nate over here that Adams Central lost 2 bouts, I think, by a point. And they lost another bout in the ultimate tiebreaker, and that's the number 4 team in the state. I thought Adams Central wrestled really, really well. I didn't stick around for the last rounds, but they beat Prairie Heights in that placement round and ended up 4-1. So I think Adams Central looks great right now. I think Coach Curry wants to get, obviously, I mean, you look at that lineup that they had this Saturday, and then you insert Keegan Bloom, who I think you can chalk up as, and everybody that's sitting here in the crowd can say, that's probably a ticket rounder, if not better. And you plug in Zach Worm and you say, that's probably a ticket rounder or better. And they're that much better in their lineup. And I think they are an absolute contender for the 1A crown.
I think Tim Myers wants to put 2,000 people in a gym, and I think a good old-fashioned Belmont-Adams Central rivalry might get him close to that, and that's going to be a night where he recognizes the former state champions, and I think there's a lot of people going to come just to see those people, and I think it's going to be a good duel, mate. I mean, I think that Belmont studs line up right against Adams Central's good guys, and I think it's going to be some really good matches, but we'll see. It could be a good old-fashioned pack the house kind of night at the Belmont Teepee.
And for all our local listeners, on Wednesday we'll have Adams Central and Norwell. That'll be on YouTube on Wednesday night. Then on Thursday we'll have the big Adams Central Belmont dual meet at Belmont. But before that, we'll have our show, our next edition of this show, from 5 to 6:30. We're going to attempt to talk to every Belmont state champ that is in attendance, even Bill Schultz, who told me on Tuesday, there's no way you're going to get me on the radio. But we're going to do our best. And then on Friday, we'll have the semifinals and the finals of the ECIC before we take a 5-day break in wrestling coverage and then jump back in with Girls Regional and the Al Smith and another episode of our show. And then eventually we'll have the bracket reveal. I know we have a lot of listeners right now for the first time, so we thank everybody for jumping on WZBD.com and that kind of thing to join us. We'll give you a rundown of what we're going to do. We're going to start by calling the two teams who have been voted in 4A, and then we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk to the 1A teams, and then we're going to go to 2A, and then from there we'll finish with 3A, and that only makes sense because, as we said, we've got 6 teams to invite for 3A instead of everybody else. So I'm going to show Rex.
Are we going to do that in this weigh-in section here?
We are going to do that.
Okay.
For the first one here, going to give him that first number.
That's down south, I can tell.
It's not a 260.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's ready.
Hello?
Good evening. Is this Coach Jones?
This is.
Rex Brewer and Dane Fuelling with High School Wrestling Weekly. How are you this evening?
Not too bad. How are you?
We're good.
Well, Coach, we just wanted to check in with you. You're our first of 12 guests tonight, and we want to congratulate the Avon Orioles, not just on beating Adams Central this weekend on Saturday on WZBD, but also receiving one of the vote-ins for 4A for Team State.
That's awesome. Wow. Thank you so much. It's been a goal of ours all off season. So this is the best phone call I've received in a while. So,
well, good
awesome.
deal. We certainly respect the wins that you guys picked up 2 weeks ago at the Cathedral Invite, and just sort of the resume that you've built in the last 2 weeks. And I know that the voters on the committee were really impressed with those head-to-head dual meet wins, and it's got to feel good as a coach to be able to put a schedule together and then put the squad out there that can deliver those wins, and then it made the job pretty easy for the voters.
Absolutely. You know, we've been looking to get back to this tournament. The last couple of years, we've been left out for the last 2 seasons. When I took over, that was our first year we were out. So that's been a team goal of ours all off season. You know, just talking with the kids, saying, hey, we want to get back to our strong tradition of, you know, getting in this tournament, getting invited back to this tournament, and we knew we would see several of those teams who received automatic bids at the beginning of the season. So that was kind of a motivation to hit the ground running from the start of the season. So just kind of allowed our team to control its own destiny. And so we're just really proud of our kids, you know, our coaches and Avon Wrestling family for the buy-in and dedication they've provided so far this season.
Now, of course, the challenge for you guys get in, consider yourselves maybe the 4th, 5th, 6th best team in 4A, but you look at those top 3 teams in this class. I know you guys saw your big rival Brownsburg. That was a 49-12 match. Those 3 teams at the top of 4A are really above and beyond, it seems like, everybody else in Indiana. How do you approach sort of those matches and those matchups, and what do you say to your boys heading into those?
You know, we just got to take it match by match, duel by duel. You know, we can't really focus on – we can only control what we can control. So whenever the seeds come out, we'll just take it duel by duel. We see those tough competitions. We've seen Brownsburg early in the season. We will see eventually Center Grove. It's our last dual meet before the sectional tournament. Both of those teams alone we've seen our regional. So we're used to, you know, going through the meat grinder of Mooresville Regional each year. And so, you know, just take that approach going into that tournament and, you know, see if we can keep climbing. We've climbed so far since the beginning of the season. And, you know, our goal is to also be considered one of those top 3 teams in the state as well.
Well, Coach, we certainly congratulate you on getting the bid as one of the 8 teams in 4A that'll be competing in that tournament. And while we have you on the air, we actually broadcast your match on Saturday against Adams Central. And the Jets gave you guys a pretty good challenge. Why don't you say a little bit about what you saw from the Flying Jets on Saturday?
Yeah, we knew going into that duel. We wrestled them last year as well. They're for a 1A school, they are very talented, and we knew they would have some good wrestlers. Just looking, even looking at the rankings before the match started, they're really good at football. They're really good at all their athletic sports and stuff at their school, and they have a lot of talent, and they matched well with us in some areas of our weight classes, and I expect them to make some noise at the 1A team state in January.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we thank you for taking the time here on our show to accept your invitation for 4A, and we're looking forward to talking to the other 11 coaches, and then we're looking forward to seeing what you're able to do here over the holidays and on that first weekend in January.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, let's send it back to studio. Steve Rouse run the board for us as he does every Sunday night, and we'll be back with more coaches in First Period A right after this. You're listening to High School Wrestling on WZBD.
Hi, it's Jessie from Heller Nursery. If you've never been to our greenhouses, now is the time to come. We grow over 4,000 poinsettias, and it's a sight worth seeing. Heller Nursery also cuts fresh greens and makes wreaths daily for the Christmas season. Heller Nursery has a great selection of houseplants and pottery all winter long. Houseplants and gift cards make great Christmas gifts. Heller Nursery is located outside of Decatur, just off of 224. Just follow the signs. Heller Nursery open 7 days a week.
The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home is honored to serve the community we love and live in. Locally owned and operated by Ryan Hershey and Eric Zelt, we understand that each family we serve and each life lived tells a unique story. Our goal is to offer comfort, care, and dignity to all who entrust their loved ones to our care. We are proud to call Adams County our home and look forward to serving you for generations to come.
Brad Weber proudly supports the WZBD Wrestling Coaches Show. He also supports youth football in Adams County as a board member of the Decatur Football League and president of Belmont Cadet Football, giving our youth the chance to learn the great game of football. Some of the best football players in our area have also been fantastic wrestlers. That's why famous coaches like Joe Gibbs and John Madden always wanted wrestlers on their team. Find out more about youth football opportunities by giving Brad a call at 452-7045 or email bw@bradweberlaw.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hager Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted once again by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. And Dane and I always brag about the food at the Clubhouse Grill, but tonight we had the WZB Christmas party, and we were overloaded by the time we got here. So no food at Double Eagle, but there will be next week, right?
Absolutely. And, of course, our show this coming week is going to be on Thursday night as Adams Central travels to Belmont. We'll have our show live from the teepee at Belmont High School. And then we will have our show the following week live from the Crow's Nest at the Cave in Mishawaka. I'm looking forward to that one on the just before the first whistle of day one of the Al Smith Classic. Always look forward to conversations with everybody down there or up there, and really looking forward to that tournament. But right now, we are joined by the last team in 4A. And we are joined on the phone by Mr. Greg Schaefer, who is the head coach of the Evansville Mater Dei Wildcats. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Hey, Dane and Rex, thanks for having me. Appreciate the phone call.
Well, we hope that you are excited about being invited to 4A. You guys are one of, I think now, just 3 schools who have been to every edition of the Coaches Association Team State, and congratulations.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I know we've been auto bids for however many years it's been going, and we're grateful to be voted in, and and I know our wrestlers and our families are going to be excited about the opportunity.
Well, we're glad to have you on the show, but I must remind you that you are probably the second greatest fan of this show living in Evansville, because your former coach, Mike Gable, he's a huge fan of the High School Wrestling Weekly, and we appreciate his support as well.
Yeah, well, I have to come up there when it's warmer and play 18 for a live show sometime.
That would work out. You can be in a foursome with me and Rex for the Decatur Wrestling Club Open.
They played golf here
Sounds
yesterday.
good.
They were out on a course yesterday playing.
Awesome.
Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about your team and the season that you've had so far.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have one of those just kind of young, inexperienced, sprinkle in a little bit of, senior leadership. And, I've been saying this a lot, like not necessarily blue chip team, but a blue collar team. And, we just need experience and an opportunity to get better. And, that's one reason we're so grateful to be included in this event is, you got the top of the state, and that's really ultimately the best way to get better. So on that end, I just hope that this opportunity is, maximized in that regard where, where our young guys, they mature through the event, right? So they're not wrestling like young guys when the end of the season comes around also. So, we're hoping to compete very well as a team and kind of use it also as a springboard. This event, one thing I love about it, all the, how it's 4A to 1A, it's just so much more opportunity to build programs and also at the same time use as a tool to sustain programs. It's just good for wrestling. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Now, Coach, just a few days before we announce the seeds live from Rex's basement on January 1st, you guys are going to host one of the biggest tournaments of the year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Mater Dei Holiday Classic and everything that goes into it and the teams that are involved in that?
Yeah, it's just a great event. We don't have the largest facilities, right? So you're starting a bunch of wrestling people in there together. It's a pretty intimate setting. And you got some of the best wrestlers in the state and the surrounding states. We have probably the top-notch Kentucky teams. Union County's been a perennial power, and they've got a few outstanding young men there. And, we got some teams from Illinois coming in that are sprinkling some high-level talent. And, Indiana's bringing some of its finest down also. So there's a lot of central Indiana presence there. I know you just got off the phone with Coach Johns. Avon we'll see them back at home. Perry Meridian, Franklin, Roncalli, Floyd Central. A lot of the teams that will be featured in the team tournament will be there also. So it's like for us, it's like really one of those first events where you see a lot of back-to-back high-level competition.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to following the results and the team scores and some of the big head-to-heads of state-ranked wrestlers on that weekend and seeing how it affects the seeding, which we'll announce on our show on January 1st. And then we'll look forward to seeing how 4A plays out on that Saturday, January 6th, with your guys.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. We're excited.
So, Coach, since HSAA decided that this year they needed a home for the state finals and it's going to be in Evansville, are you and the rest of the Evansville people ready to roll out the carpet for all the crazies that come down for the state finals? And you know how they are. I mean, they will come to town looking to party.
Yeah, I'm going to be focused on wrestling and hopefully get my guys ready. But I'm trusting that the old faithful will roll out the red carpet and be hospitable and do everything they can to put on a great event.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it, Coach, and let's not make this your last appearance this season on High School Wrestling Weekly.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. So there you go, Rex. 4A, Avon, and Mater Dei. I think definitely looking at the list of teams in 4A, I think those are the two teams that are going to be the most competitive. Not saying that anybody's going to compete with the big three, but I think that's going to be an awesome tournament. And as far as, Mike Reiser's concerned with the state rankings, you're going to get a great shot. Although, talking to Coach Schaefer, he's already got Avon and Perry Meridian, Floyd, Franklin, Ron Colley, all already coming That's half of the field in 4A and 3A to begin with. So
I didn't quite hear him roll out that invitation to stay in his garage.
No, he didn't say anything about your garage.
Yeah, no,
maybe
his
the
garage.
doghouse.
His garage.
Yeah, sorry, you don't want to stay in your garage.
Well, Evansville should be warm by that time of year, right?
Well, that's south. It's like
Yeah,
Florida,
south.
isn't
It's
it?
south, close to the equator. Who are
All
you
right.
joined by now? Is this guy related to you?
He is. Well, you don't want to spoil it. We are joined by Coach Robert Loshe of the South Adams Starfires.
Well, the people that are here know Dane.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Coach Humble, you're in. He's happy. Coach Loshe played a prank on Coach Humble and told him that somebody else had made it in.
Just made him come to Double Eagle for the heck of it.
Early
Right?
to say, hey, before we go any further, 4A, the big three, Center Grove, Brownsburg, Crown Point, then Cathedral and Warren and Perry from the Indy area, and now Avon and Mater Dei. I think it's going to be a great tournament. Brownsburg's going to do everything. There's going to be a lot of discussion about how that should be seeded. There's going to be, in my mind, a big advantage to being the number one because I really do think that those top three are a level above. So the number one seed is going to be able to avoid that semifinal matchup, and whoever comes out of the other side is going to be battle tested and ready to go. Last year, they saved the championship match for later on in the night. They wrestled the third place and the fifth place and the seventh place match, and then they turned off the lights and they brought out the fog and everything and highlighted the championship match. It was great for those of us who were at different locations. We're able to tune in. I know Indiana Matt has plans of doing some things with that, but that should be an absolutely great tournament. So let's turn our focus to 1A. And we are joined by Coach Robert Loshe. You guys had a 5-0 day yesterday at Newcastle.
Yeah. That was our goal going in. We thought we had a shot. I think last year we were 4-1. Went down there and got beat by Newcastle. But yeah, we thought this year our team was good enough that we could go down and try to win it. And that was the goal.
And we've talked to you before, both this year and last year, about building a schedule that's going to get you in. And I think probably your hope for the rest of the season is probably to build a resume that gets you an automatic bid for next year, so you don't have to worry about it as much this year.
Yeah. Going into sectional and regional last year, we had a kid not make weight, we had a kid get injured. It was probably a semi-state guy. This year we're hoping that everything goes smooth. I think we've got enough good young kids that we can be an automatic bid for next year. But we would have said the same thing last year, so we'll wait and see.
And just a reminder to our listeners, you guys were just 2 points away from the automatic bid last year. Joining you are Rochester, Cowan, Adams Central, North Miami, Prairie Heights, Cascade, West Central, Southmont, Bluffton, and Tell City. You guys already have wins over Cowan and Bluffton, and you have a 6-point loss to Adams Central. Tell us a little bit about what your schedule looks like between now and Team State.
Well, Friday we wrestled an individual tournament down at the Jay County at the ECIC. We'll see a lot of good individuals there. Obviously, Jay County's there, so we'll see some of those guys again, hopefully. And then we're off until the 4th, where we wrestle Huntington North. So we've got that dual meet on the 4th, and then now Team State on the 6th, and so we'll get to see some more good competition before we get there. And we've got work to do. I told the guys Saturday after we went, after we knew we were the team champs down there, I said we wrestled great, but we didn't wrestle well enough to beat Rochester, Tell City, those top level teams that are going to be at 1A. We've got a little bit more work to do, and those guys were receptive. I think that they're going to continue to work hard, and I think, Dane, I know we're a voting team, but we're not going there to be a bottom half team. I mean, we want to try to get to the finals. We want to see if we can win it. And I know that's a bold statement, but that's what we're trying to do.
Well, the last few years, it's been an interesting, dynamic with the way the seeds have fallen and the way the different dual meets have fallen on the schedule, and then the teams that actually show up at Team State. And you guys had a great tournament last year. You wrestled all the way to 5th. You were really close there. Turned some heads, and then obviously you built on that this year. Didn't get the automatic bid, but I think everybody recognized that's a team that was 5th last year and is better this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you guys are shooting for this year.
Yep. Yeah, and it's super exciting. I was talking, Coach Wynn over here. We had 10 freshmen and sophomore in our lineup Saturday. That's exciting when you're a coach because you know the future's still pretty good. I mean, it may not be great forever, but in the near future, South Adams is going to be pretty good for at least a few more years.
You know, that first round of the ACAC duels, you guys were right there with Adams Central. I mean, a couple matches go this way, another way, and you were right there with them, and they're ranked number 1 coming in, and I think a couple matches go a little bit different way, and matchups a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys are right there.
Yeah, we didn't have Colton Bullenbacher in the lineup that night, and I don't know how that would have affected moving guys around, but he's arguably one of our best wrestlers. So to not have him in the lineup and to be within 6, we felt pretty good about where we were. Of course, you never can tell. I mean, the next time we got a lot of those matches that went our way. Some of those matches may not go our way next time, but it was exciting to see that we can compete with the number 1 team.
Well, Coach, we are extremely excited that we have more of the South Adams Starfires on our schedule. We're going to be there at Rochester for the 1A team state. We're going to be trying to do our best.
We aren't going to be there.
I am going to be there along with Robert and everybody else. We're going to do our best to cover the Starfires and the Jets, and we'll be able to do a little bit better job this year with YouTube and with 92.7. But WZBD loves being a part of your team and following your journey, and it's going to be awfully fun on January 6th.
Well, I'm glad you guys do what you do. It's great that there's another avenue for people to listen and to watch. So we appreciate everything you guys do.
Well, we thank you, and when we come back, we're going to have the other team that got an invite for the 12th spot on 1A. We'll be right back after these messages.
At Jackson Associates Financial Services in Portland, we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in our relationship with you, our client. We endeavor to know and understand your financial situation and provide you with only the highest quality information, services, and products to help you reach your goals. Give Troy a call for the latest rates on CDs and learn about the advantages in today's financial climate to invest in your hard-earned dollar. That's Jackson Associates in Portland. Wygand Construction in Fort Wayne is building landmarks that impact the lives and communities we serve. At Wygand, we believe that our most important responsibility as a building contractor and construction company is to stand by our commitments to our clients and to our community. That's why we believe in supporting high school athletics, where our local teenagers show their commitments to their teammates, their coaches, their schools, and their communities. Wygand Construction. Trust. Well built.
Hi, this is Joel at Decatur Package Liquors, locally owned since 1965. I promise competitive prices and the best service in town. We offer bulk buy discounts for weddings, graduation parties, and other big celebrations. Special orders are also available and highly recommended. Don't forget about Wine Wednesday, where you get the best savings. Come on, guys, it's where your friends shop.
Decatur Package Liquors, with the best service and variety in town, now with locations in Monroe, Byrne, and Markle.
Welcome back to the Hager Hershey-Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted once again by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Nice little crowd joining in here, mostly the same folks we see in here every Sunday night. And just remember, you can be here too. As long as you're 21, you can get in here and enjoy the festivities. And Dane, why don't you tell us who we have on the phone here calling in?
Yep, we are on the phone with Coach Justin Kuhn from Faith Christian. And Coach, congratulations, you're in for 1A Team State.
Hey, thanks so much. This is exciting.
Well, tell us a little bit about your program overall before we start talking about your season this year.
Yeah, so our program been growing a lot over the last 8 years. A lot of kids have put a lot of time into this program. Just numbers have been going up, ability's been growing up. We're having a lot of success.
Now, you guys had a big tournament this weekend at Twin Lakes. You finished in third place. Why don't you give us some highlights of who wrestled well there?
Yeah, we went over to Twin Lakes, got third place, and we had a kid actually get injured in the first round, or maybe would have had a little bit better chance to pull that out. Had 3 kids in the finals. We've got our studs at 150, 157, and 165. Eli Blossom won it for the second year in a row at 150. He's just on another level right now.
Yeah, looking at Eli, I was looking at his record last year, 37-4, a semi-state qualifier. You got Zach White back at 157, who is also a semi-state qualifier. Just a lot of guys with some varsity experience from last year. And, I think the committee was awfully impressed with you hanging with West Central. It's always nice to be able to wrestle a team who's already in and say, hey, we've shown that we can compete with one of those teams. I know every once in a while we get a team who wants in and they're maybe 16-0 or 15-0, but they haven't wrestled anybody else that's in the field, and it's you don't really have anybody to peg them on. But you guys had a pretty decent schedule to this point in the season, and I think the voters recognize that.
Yeah, that was our goal, was kind of building a tough schedule. We knew we had a pretty talented team this year, so we tried to make sure to see some quality opponents. We meet as a coaching staff, and one of our goals was getting into team state this year, so we wanted to have every opportunity to prove that.
Now, you guys are going to have another opportunity here over the holidays after Christmas, as I believe you're going to Loshe, Jeff, for the duels.
Yeah, so we go to the holiday duels, but actually Thursday we see McCutcheon in a duel as well. So that's our next one on the schedule. And then, we see 10 tough duels over a couple days at Lafayette Jeff.
I know you guys will be able to sort of test your grit against Adams Central because they'll be there too.
Yeah, we actually see them in our 10th duel. So I think there's 16 teams there this year, but they are one of the teams we've got in our duel, so we get to see them.
Now, one of the questions that we always ask new coaches for Team State, and this is your first ever appearance, tell us a little bit about what you have planned for your team, your fans, your school, as far as recognizing the accomplishment of getting in, but then also getting people pumped up for 1A and heading to Rochester.
Yeah, so we have the best fans in the state of Indiana. Actually,
hang on a second. I think Belmont may have the best, so it might have the second best. Sorry
Rex
about that.
is a little partial.
Sorry about that.
So actually, at the Twin Lakes Invite, a kid from another school came up to me and said, "I'm so jealous of the parents that cheer for your kids, just because you could always tell in the gym when a Faith Christian school kid won, because our fans let everybody know."
So you guys kind of catch a break with the tournament being at Rochester. What kind of crowd are we talking about seeing here?
Oh, we're gonna travel well. It's only about an hour 15 for us. I checked, and we're gonna travel well.
Now, one thing that Rex and I are always asking for is gear. Now, is there any Faith Christian Team State wrestling shirts coming our way? Rex is an XL, and I'm a medium.
Okay, so we'll see what we can do for you guys. I have a feeling we're gonna get some gear. We like dressing out.
That's awesome. We're looking forward to it. WZBD will be there broadcasting for both Adams Central and South Adams, and we'd love to have a chance to shake your hand and talk to you, and we wish you the best of luck here for 1A Team State in just a few weeks.
Hey, great. Thanks so much.
Hey, Coach, when you talk about legacies, on Thursday night this week, Belmont High School is going to wrestle against probably one of their biggest rivals over the past 50 years in Adams Central, and we plan on putting over 2,000 people in the gym and recognize our 13 state champions. So at some point in time, tell your kids that that's what you want to strive to be, is a program that has 13 state champions and going to put 2,000 people in a gymnasium to watch wrestling match.
Yeah, that's our goal. We keep taking little steps every year. Last year I had a couple sectional champs and a regional champ. This year we're hoping to get a couple state qualifiers and some medalists. So, taking steps every year.
Well, Coach, we thank you for coming on the show tonight, and we wish you the best of luck there at Lafayette Jeff and against McCutcheon here later in the week, and then we hope to see you at Rochester on January 6th.
Great. Thanks so much.
And where are we at now, Dane?
Well,
our coach, or where are we at in break time here?
I got to do a better job of lining everybody up. We are going to switch now our gears to 2A, and let me see if I can find the right number for it.
Got about 4 minutes for this next guy here.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This number right here. I don't want to say it over the air. Everybody will be calling him.
I don't think so. You should put smaller type on there because my old eyes are...
You're young.
Young at heart.
Okay.
Marion, Indiana. You talk to him since you know who's on the phone line here. Oh, I know Coach King.
If he answers.
Hello, this is Andrew.
Hey.
Sorry, Mr. Call. I'll call you back as soon as I can.
Oh,
Thank you.
It's the first ever voicemail.
Hey, there's a little wrestling show called the High School Wrestling Weekly. trying to get a hold of you. So please call us back. Thanks.
Well, while Coach King is waiting.
We got voicemail. How dare you, Andrew King, get a voicemail?
Oh, that's too good. Well, I think we'll end up talking to him later on, but
He'll call right in the middle of another guest, probably.
Oak Hill's a team, a 2A team that's had a lot of success, a team that's been there before. They're always sort of measuring themselves next to Western and their biggest rival, and I'm really excited about what they're going to be able to do. I don't think that Oak Hill is necessarily a team that you can peg into that 11th or 12th place spot at 2A.
I know that New Haven just defeated them last week.
I really do think that they're going to be competitive in this field. Their only loss this year is to New Haven. That was way back on November 30th. Since then, they had the second place finish at Western, and they'll be at the ECIC on Friday, and then they'll wrestle a couple more times in between then. So Oak Hill is our first team in 2A. We'll see if we can get a hold of Coach King later on.
Well, if they don't answer the phone, they're not in.
Do they
right?
lose their spot?
They lose your spot.
Oh, that's too good. All right, we're going to call the other 2A team here. They're right there. The old 219 number. That should give you a little bit of an indication as to which way we're going. In the 2A field already are
Rensselaer, Indiana.
Here we go.
We get our voicemail. I'm
You're
closing
done.
down a show.
Hello?
Is this Coach Hickman?
Yes.
Hey, Coach. This is Dane Fuelling, High School Wrestling Weekly, joined by Rex Brewer. We want to let you know that the Rensselaer Bombers are in for 2A Team State.
Sweet. That's awesome, man.
Well, we just called Oak Hill and Coach King, and he sent us straight to voicemail. So I guess
we
guys.
Yeah, we actually have a watch party, and we just heard it. So
that's awesome. Well, you guys are now seated ahead of them, I guess.
Yes,
that's the way that goes.
You get to see.
I like that. I like the way that works.
And that's a rule. You don't take a call, you're out.
Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about your team and what you guys have accomplished so far this year.
Yeah, we're 12-1 this season right now. We got a really young team. Last year we were able to qualify for Team State. We had 15 seniors in our program, and 8 of them were in the varsity lineup. So it's a lot of new faces this year, but we start off the season, kind of our goal was just to get better every day. We didn't talk about Team State. We didn't talk about really end of the year goals. It was just let's get in here and let's work hard and kind of see where the season goes. And these guys have exceeded every expectation and every challenge that we've set before them. And we're pumped up to take this group over to Portland here in a few weeks and compete.
Well, WZBD will be there in Portland for the 2A Team State Finals. Why don't you tell us a little bit about these holiday duels that you are hosting here later this week?
Yeah, so one of the goals that we've had the last few years is kind of to beef up our schedule, and one of the ways we tried to do that is start the Bourbon Holiday Duels, which is named after the coach that started our program, Joe Bourbon. And that we've had a kind of an influx of schools the last few years just because, some schools have school that ends up running through the 21st, 22nd, but, we try to get as competitive schools as possible there every year. So we got Rochester coming into town next week, which we're really excited about. We wrestled them last year to a really close duel, and it came down to bonus points, and so we're excited to wrestle another really, really tough competitive school. We'll see Southport there. We'll see Highlands coming down. So West Central, who's a Team State in 1A, will be there. So just trying to get as many competitive matches in here through Christmas break and get our guys battle tested to get into January and be competing our best is kind of the goal for us. But it's a cool event that we've hosted for 3 years now, and we're excited to welcome all those schools back in next week.
And then, of course, you guys will have an opportunity at North Montgomery to see Hamilton Heights and sort of help your seating case heading into our announcement on WZBD on January 1st of the 2A Team State bracket.
Yeah, so Hamilton Heights is actually in our conference along with Western, so we're really familiar with both those schools, and we've wrestled Heights in a duel the last 2 or 3 years, and I think every time we wrestled in the duel, it came down to the last match where we've and unfortunately fell on the short end and lost by 2 points. I think one year we lost by 1 point. So we're hoping to kind of flip the script this year and get that win against them. It's kind of been a really good little rivalry that we've had with them the last 2 years, and like I said, it's a new group for us this year, and we're excited to have a chance to go and compete with them.
So, Coach, this is Rex Brewer. I will be at 2A at Jay County, and I am the extra large.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. We love gear here at Rensselaer. That's one of our things that we take care of ourselves. So we'll make sure to bring over some gear for you guys.
Well, you guys have one of the great logos in high school athletics in Indiana, in my mind.
Yeah, Jason Cook has always been infatuated with the Bomber Bob, and he's been on me for a few years now to get him a logo of the Bomber Bob with the muscles flexing up instead of down. So I know we've got one somewhere here. I've got to get that posted somewhere for him, but he says he has a collection of Bomber Bobs somewhere stashed away. I don't know why, but he says he does.
Coach Cook's a big fan of our show. I refereed for his father at Valpo for years and years, and I watched that young man grow up from just a little child. So I've been around for a few years.
Yeah. So he's a good guy.
Well, Coach, we congratulate you on getting into 2A Team State, and we look forward to seeing you at Jay County on January 6th.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
Now, I had a missed call.
Should we call him?
Let's see if they come back here.
See how quick.
Cruz Campbell. Let's see what Cruz Campbell has to say. See who Cruz Campbell is.
Hello, this is Andrew.
Yo, are you sure it's Andrew? I was talking to your voice. I was talking to your voicemail before, Andrew. You voicemailed me, brother. Come on now.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, Coach, we want to let you know officially to the rest of the wrestling world here in Indiana that Oak Hill is in for 2A Team State.
Woohoo! That's great.
Well, I'm excited for you guys, and I know that you guys have had a good season so far, and we were talking a little bit earlier when we were trying to call you about your rivalry with Western, and the two of you guys going back and forth with each other, and it feels like if Western's in and Oak Hill's right there with them, then Oak Hill's got to be in too. And I know you guys kind of work off of each other, and it's kind of nice to have that natural rival right next door.
Oh yeah, we're in the same sectional. Steel sharpens steel. So we're always trying to. They're our friendly nemesis, put it that way.
Coach, there's been a Shepherd at Western forever, and those boys, they make some tough wrestlers. But I tell you what, from knowing them as long as I have, they are some of the nicest, most genuine guys you ever want to meet. The Shepherd boys, they're just Class A guys.
Yes, for sure. If I was going to be in a street fight at some point in time, I'd want a Shepherd on my side. That's for sure.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward. We're going to be there. WZBD is on. Is that Friday this week for the ECIC?
Yeah, the ECIC, I believe, is coming up this Friday.
You guys will have an opportunity to compete against some other Team State teams there and help solidify your spot for seeding for 2A.
Good. Well, that'd be great.
Tell us a little bit about some of the top individuals on your team.
Well, I think we have a really good group of seniors this year. And you put me on the spot because I'm getting older and I forget names and I'll forget someone if not. But all of our seniors are really they put in the time over the years and they stayed with it. And I think any wrestler in the state of Indiana, if they would just not worry about their wins and losses when they're freshmen and sophomores and stay with the program regardless of what school they wrestle in, they'll find success their junior and senior years. I think it's just a lesson in life to stay with it and don't give up on your dreams and your goals.
Now,
go ahead.
One question that we always ask coaches on this program when we do this episode: how do you incorporate Team State into your overall sort of team mantra, team philosophy? How do you use Team State as a motivator? Is it gear? Is it fans? Is it a walk through the hallways? What does Oak Hill do for Team State?
Well, I cannot say that we've done anything special in the past for Team State, other than fasten up our bootstraps and a little bit tighter, and try to make that a place where we can put Oak Hill on the map. Because obviously those are the best teams by class, size of school, and we get that opportunity to compete with other people from all over the state. And that's the exciting part of it is, Western's in our sectional, and we see everybody in the northeastern part of the state going to our to our semi-state. But, we don't see it from the southern part of the state, and possibly we can get some teams coming up from other places in the state to compete.
Well, Coach,
so we just try to go after the idea we're going to go wrestle someone from Indiana, and we don't care where they're from or what color or singlet they have on.
Well, Coach, we're certainly looking forward to seeing your team on Friday and then in a few more weeks at Team State, and we want to congratulate you for being one of the 12 teams that are in.
Yeah, thank you very much. We love to be there, and I think this will be like our, fourth or fifth time we've been there, and I think we've held our own pretty decently in the past.
Well, we're looking forward to it, Coach. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for the time, and again, sorry for the voicemail and not getting that phone when it called the first time.
That's okay. It was a fun moment on our show.
I'm sure I'm going to get all kinds of flack for it on my end. So
you're good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Now let's send it back to studio for a round of commercials with Steve Rouser on the board. Back with more high school wrestling here on WZBD.
When faced with the difficult task of making arrangements for your loved one, many emotions and questions arise. What would they want me to do if they were here? Where is the money coming from? How much should I spend? Do they want burial or cremation? The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home can help you navigate these tough questions. Make your wishes known and allow us to make sure that your wishes are carried out. Call Ryan Hershey or Eric Zelt at 260-724-7167 to schedule an appointment today.
When you're doing new construction or remodeling and you need drywall, the name to call is Paul Baker Drywall. Paul Baker Drywall does championship caliber work and gives you free estimates. Paul uses all the latest styles for your approval, and his work is always guaranteed. Give Paul a call today at 701-4388. That's 701-4388. When it's time for drywall, use the best, Paul Baker Drywall. Nobody handles screen printing and apparel like Team Mantra Wear in Bluffton, providing high-quality and creative apparel for South Adams football, Belmont wrestling, and many others in our area. Team Mantra takes all the work coaches and volunteers used to do, taking orders and collecting money, and does that for them. Set up an online store and let the local experts at Team Mantra take care of the rest. From custom designs to a wide array of apparel and gear, Team Mantra is your home for all of your team apparel needs. Visit the brand new location for Team Mantra Wear on Main Street in Bluffton, or visit them online at teammantraware.com today.
By the Double Eagle. Once again, we're live from Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill, and there it comes. Good evening. Welcome to the Haggard Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly. This is Brewer and Dane Fuelling. Who am I talking to?
This is Josh Holm, Greenfield Central High School. How are you?
You almost missed it. You almost got cut out of the draw because you got voicemail.
You guys were automatically dropped out. We were going to call somebody else and tell them they're in.
Well, I'm sure someone else would have been more fun to talk to than me. So.
Well, Coach, we want to congratulate you as being one of the first teams in to the new and expanded 3A Team State to be held at Franklin on January 6th. And I think it goes without saying you guys earned a spot, and you are one of the contenders for that 3A Team State title. And I hope that your team's really excited.
I appreciate it. We still got a lot to prove. I think we fell to a tough Floyd Central team and a tough New Pal team. And, I put our schedule up against anybody. It's just a juggernaut, especially early. But, we don't feel like we've performed our best yet. So we're we're hoping to continue to improve and prove people right. Like last year, we were voted in, and same with Columbus East, and we ended up finishing third, and Columbus East was second. And I think we feel like we have to do that again. We got a lot to prove.
Now, Coach, I know looking forward to your schedule. Last week, we had on our show the head coach of the Southern Wells Raiders, and he was talking about the upcoming Spartan Classic at Connorsville. Tell us a little bit about how you view that tournament as sort of a springboard for you guys heading into Team State.
Yeah, so it's actually, for us, it's a big preparation tournament for sectional and for conference. The beginning of our season is a lot of duels, 10 ranked teams out of 17 duels, and then we kind of switch gears with Connorsville, and it's the first individual tournament that we have, and I think it's important to practice, participating in those individual tournaments, because then you go into conference and it's individual and it's big, and then into sectional. So I think that's good practice, but I also think you get to see teams from all over the state of Indiana, and as we know, the depth in Indiana wrestling is outstanding, and you got to see those people, because just because they're not in the rankings doesn't mean they're not good.
Well, Coach, we want to congratulate you and your team and your squad for qualifying, and we look forward to seeing what you guys can do over the next week or so, week to 10 days. And when we talk to you next, maybe on January 1st, we'll tell you what your seed is, and then we'll wait a few days and see how it all plays out at Franklin for 3A Team State.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. We feel really blessed to be a part of it.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a good one.
Okay, so that was Josh Holden, and Greenfield Central is in on the 3A side of things. We are going to pull up our next team here. Rex, I'll give him the phone number here. I'll go through the 3A teams that are already in. That's Mishawaka, Terre Haute South. Terre Haute South had a great tournament this weekend. I talked to Coach Cook earlier this morning. Also, Ron Colley, DeKalb, Fort Wayne Snyder, and Columbus East, and now, of course, Greenfield Central. And we are about to invite team number 8.
Hello.
Hi, is this Coach Fry?
Yes.
Hey, this is Dane Fuelling, Rex Brewer from High School Wrestling Weekly. We're calling to let you know that the New Palestine Dragons are in for 3A Team State.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, I know there's been a lot of talk about the 3A Team State field, and originally an 8-team field, now expanded to 12. And you guys have had such a good start to the season that it kind of forced the hand of those who are in charge. And the 3A Team State this year is going to be one of the best ones ever.
Yeah, that's exciting. We're happy to be a part of it, and having 12 teams definitely just makes that more exciting, because I think it will be a pretty competitive bracket for sure.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your season so far and some of the successes that you've had to get you here?
Yeah, it's been a real good season, probably one of our better seasons in a while. So we started off with Center Grove. That's how we started our season. So that was tough, but that's what we wanted. We need to see a team like that, and then we got on a pretty good roll. 9 wins in a row. Good wins there were Roncalli and Greenfield Central. Those were probably the ones that kind of put us on the map a little bit as maybe a contention for being in this tournament. So those were exciting. And then this past weekend, we went up to Penn High School and wrestled Penn, Mishawaka, Snyder, Homestead, and Goshen. So we saw some of that Northern Indiana action, and that was good for us too. So we've had a great season so far, and excited to keep that rolling.
Well, Coach, I'm sure you probably don't want to talk about it as much, but I see that dual meet with you and Mishawaka 34-33, and it just gets me more and more excited about this 3A Team State field. Not necessarily to seed it, but to see how it all plays out. I honestly think, there's probably 8 or 9 teams who really have a chance to make the finals. It's that competitive.
Oh, yeah, it's real competitive. And I think probably for January 6th, the name of the game is who's the healthiest and most complete. So I know that's something that's been talked about a lot, is some teams are trying to get in. Well, we're not the healthiest and all that. So come January 6th, whoever's, I guess, best prepared might have the best weekend. So that's what makes it exciting, is it's so competitive. You better show up with a full roster or it's going to be a tough day. So we're excited for it.
Well, Coach, we're excited to see what you guys are able to do at Connorsville here next week, and we look forward to announcing your seat on our show on January 1st and seeing what you guys are able to do at Franklin on January 6th.
Yep, super excited for it. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yep, have a good one. Thanks.
With that, let's send it back to studio for a round of commercials with Steve Rouse running the board. Back with more High School Wrestling Weekly and more coaches right after this on WZBD.
DDD Maintenance and Repair, owned and operated by Shane Reynolds, has your local professionals for heavy-duty truck and diesel engine repair. DDD Maintenance and Repair also offers full-service sand and glass blasting for your surface restoration projects. Whether it's getting your heavy-duty truck and diesel engine running like new or sandblasting your project to look like new, we have a blast renewing the past. Give Shane and the guys a call at 260-223-5442. That's DDD Maintenance and Repair.
Bowers Paint Studio on West Monroe Street in Decatur is hands down the best auto body repair shop in the Midwest. That's why your friends and neighbors give Bowers Paint Studio a 5-star rating on Facebook. Your family ride get dinged in an accident? Take it to Bowers for a free estimate. Need a custom paint job for your collectible car or motorcycle? Bowers Paint Studio is the place to go. Nate works with all the insurance companies and can help you get a loaner. That's Bowers Paint Studio on West Monroe Street in Decatur.
Hi, it's Jessie from Heller Nursery. If you've never been to our greenhouses, now is the time to come. We grow over 4,000 poinsettias, and it's a sight worth seeing. Heller Nursery also cuts fresh greens and makes wreaths daily for the Christmas season. Heller Nursery has a great selection of houseplants and pottery all winter long. Houseplants and gift cards make great Christmas gifts. Heller Nursery is located outside of Decatur, just off of 224. Just follow the signs. Heller Nursery open 7 days a week.
Cross Creek Golf Club in Decatur has the perfect Christmas gift for the entire family. This year, give the gift of golf. Reduced rates for next season are now available. Student memberships, singles, couples, family, and seniors are all options on the 27-hole beautiful Cross Creek Golf Course. Gift certificates from Cross Creek make great stocking stuffers. New merchandise, including sweaters and outerwear, are also great gift ideas. Stop in soon for the best selection. Cross Creek Golf Club in Decatur.
Welcome back to Hager Hershey's High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted once again, as always, by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Joined in the front row by the operator of the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill, Jason Cree. Give a big hand for Jason.
Woo!
And now we're joined on a phone by the coach of the Floyd Central. What's the Floyd Central guy?
They are the Highlanders.
Floyd Central
Floyd Central Highlanders. Mr. Brandon Sisson. Coach, congratulations on being invited to 3A Team State.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the phone call.
I know you guys have had a tough preseason sort of pre-team state schedule. Every time I look at your sort of rundown, I look at those cathedral duels. Belmont went to them for several years, and it was really tough. But you guys, you beat Greenfield Central. You lost 3 times, but it was one of the best 1 in 3 days that a team's had in Indiana in a long time, because that's a really tough field.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably 4 of the hardest duels back to back that I've ever had as a coach. We go up there. We used to go up to Calumet, and there'd be like sometimes an easier duel, but those were 4 really, really tough duels. And I mean, we got Avon right off the bat, and nobody really knew exactly where they were coming from this year, and they've kind of proved themselves really, really early on how good they are too. So. It was a tough day, but it was a fun day for sure.
And then since then, you guys have wrestled, in my opinion, even better. You beat a really good Garrett team. You saw a really good Zionsville team the week after. And then this past week, anytime that you can beat a program like Bloomington South, I have so much respect for those guys, and I know they're down there in sort of your neck of the woods. But you guys are kind of on a roll right now, and I'm really excited about where you're going to end up. by the time we get to January 6th.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. I mean, that's one of the main reasons we headed up there to the duels there in Cathedral, and to see Greenfield and see those teams and try to, build our resume. And then as we did, it came pretty obvious. Other people were doing a great job building their resume. You've seen Franklin, and then you've seen, New Pal, and, a lot of teams out there just kind of battling. And super excited about it. It should be an amazing day of wrestling for sure. And matchups and all that are going to play a big part of who comes out there.
Now, of course, we talked to Coach Schaefer earlier as the Mater Dei Wildcats were invited to 4A, and you guys are, I think, one of the annual participants in the Mater Dei Holiday Classic. Tell us a little bit about that tournament and how you use that to prepare yourselves for Team State.
Yeah, that's always a tough one. We've been going down there, since about 20 years now. I know we've been since I started coaching at Floyd Central, and it's always a super tough tournament. And it, usually a team drops out and somehow they add a better team in there for sure every year. So yeah, it helps us gauge kind of what we need to be working on, and we like to try to build to that tournament and Team State as we kind of plan our season out and how we're going to train. We kind of keep those 2 weekends circled, and super excited about it.
Now, one thing that Rex and I have been begging for with most of our guests tonight is we don't have any Floyd Central gear in our wardrobe, and when we get down to Evansville here at the end of February, that might be a nice thing to have in our closet.
Oh, yeah, well, if anybody knows me that's been around our program, I am a pack rat, and so I have tons of Floyd Central gear. So I can definitely hook you guys up if you let me know what sizes you guys need.
Well, I'm an extra large, and Dane's he's a schmedium, so
I can definitely hook you guys up with something.
I'm on Matt.com, and you're a Floyd Central Highlander. He's a BA, man. That's a good look. That's a good looking logo right there.
Yeah, that Highlander, and then we did our FCW logo too, which we really love too. So.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for joining us on the show tonight. I know it's really exciting to be in, and we're looking forward to seeing what you guys can do at Franklin here in a couple weeks.
Awesome. I appreciate it. We look forward to it, too.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Okay, we got one more phone call to go before we go to another break here.
It's a phone call. This is like a call-a-thon. Oh, we like this guy, Coach Tante. Doesn't he spend some time in your hotel room at State Finals?
He does every year. One of Mr. Monroe's best friends. Looking forward to this one. I told him we don't have a bleep.
Good evening, sir. Rex Brewer and Dane Fuelling along with the High School Wrestling Weekly Show. Please let me know, you're wearing your zoot suit long pinstripe jacket right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I do, man. But I mixed it up with the since I'm at Franklin, I got to put the cowboy boots on as well. So.
Well, Coach, we want to officially let you know that the Franklin Grizzly Cubs are in for 3A Team State, and you don't have to go far because you're the host.
Absolutely, and thank you guys very much. I appreciate the call. I'd like to say, finally, and we get to rest easy, but now the work starts. So.
It's such a deep field. I mean, we were just talking to Coach Sisson from Floyd Central, and I made this statement that I think there's probably 8 or 9 teams who probably legitimately think that they have a route to the finals.
Yeah, it's expanded to 12. I think was a really good move. It is so deep, and I hope we're one of those teams that could make a run. But to be honest, it's there's like you said, there's other teams in there that are going to make a statement as well, and to go that deep in a class. And I still think there's going to be teams that aren't in this tournament that are just as good as the teams that are in the tournament. There's a few out there still. So it's pretty cool to have that kind of depth in our class.
So, Jim, when Dane told me that they were kind of bouncing around why they shouldn't let more people in, you were the first one to step up and said, we've got the room, we've got the mats, we're going to set up for another tournament. And I think a lot of these teams are getting in to make the 12, probably have Franklin Central to thank, or Franklin community to thank for that opening up the field to make it the 12ers.
Well, yeah, it's two things on that. One, I got to thank our admin for being so flexible. It's, we are a school that hosts big tournaments. We had the kids tournament, the state, and we've hosted middle school state duels. We've hosted the schoolboy duels. So Franklin is one of those schools that has the room and has an admin that's willing to allow these programs come into the building. So I want to thank them very much, because without that support, we wouldn't be able to do these things. But it's also pretty tough if we're looking, going, okay, are we going to work tables and not be in the tournament? This is going to be a tough one on our kids. So I think that's a little bit of a motivation for our team to take it to the next level and get in this tournament. So yeah, it's real big, and we are so pleased that we're allowed to do this.
Well, Coach, you've been a good friend of mine for the last couple of years in working on the show and with the Coaches Association, and I just want to give you a shout-out for the resilience of your program. Last year, I know it wasn't the way that you guys wanted it to work out, and I don't know if a whole lot of people understand, like, you guys didn't have a semi-state qualifier last year, and to come back this year and to wrestle the way that you have, it's not easy to be able to work your way back into the conversation with so many good programs in 3A, and at the beginning of the year, only thinking that there were 8 spots, but you guys made the case and made a compelling one that you belong there, and I'm just really excited that you're in.
Well, I appreciate it. I know you mentioned that earlier about maybe we were a year or two away from where people thought we'd be, and that's a real tribute to not just our kids, but the families in our program. Our parents are a big part of our program, and the support they give in the off season for these guys and girls as well is a big part of why we're starting to see some success and have it turn in the way that we've worked for. We're young, but we've got a good mix too of some older kids that have been around, just didn't get some breaks, and it's several people on here have talked about that Mooresville Regional. I know we didn't have any semi-state qualifiers, but we beat a lot of semi-state qualifiers last year. It's just a tough route.
It sure is. It goes without saying.
Yeah, I think last year, our first round of regionals, 5 of our kids wrestled either the state champ or the state runner-up in the first round of regionals. That's 5 of them. So there you go, not having semi-state qualifiers. So, and the resilience of our team, we talked since day one. We knew that if we could give Perry a good showing, we knew that Columbus East would be a big one for us. And then, Calumet with Mishawaka being ranked 3rd at the time and returning state champs, and then getting a shot at Cathedral. So, and the 2 scores with Perry and Columbus East, it looks a little bit like it's one-sided, but you take, 3 decisions that were, 2 of them were 2-point, 1 point. You flip-flop those and a coin toss against Columbus East, and now we're within 7 or 8 in those duels. So they were really a lot closer than what the score indicated. I think our kids did everything, we did everything possible to try to get ourselves in this position. Now we got to go run with it.
Well, Coach, from our perspective now, we look forward to the next 2 weeks as we transition from who's in to who's in what spot in the bracket. And I know you guys are participating in the Modern Day Holiday Classic. Tell us a little bit about how you approach that tournament and how it affects what you do heading into January 6th.
Well, it is big, and you said it for seeding, because that Modern Day Classic, that's a huge part. We have, Ron Colley's in there, Floyd's in there, so we have teams that we're going to be facing. We've already faced 3 of the top 8 4A teams, and then you add in Modern Day, so 4 of the top 4A teams we will have faced before the team state, and then over half the 3A teams at that point we will have faced. So we'll have a good barometer to see where we're at, and if we want to get ourselves up there in a high seed, we have our opportunities for us.
Well, Coach, we thank you for coming on our show tonight and being a good friend of WZBD, being a good host last year when we were down there covering Adams Central and South Adams. You only have one class to worry about this year, so it should be a little bit easier for you. But we look forward to passing you on the highways headed south towards Evansville in February and meeting up back with you again for the state finals in February.
We sure hope so. And thank you, fellas, for having me.
All right, that's been Coach Jim Dante of the Franklin Community
Grizzly Cubs.
We got all the coaches in, Dane? Steve? Dane?
Steve's over in the office. I'm here. That's okay. We got 2 more to call. Let's send it back for another round of commercials. And when we come back, we'll have the last 2 teams in for 3A.
Right.
The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home is honored to serve the community we love and live in. Locally owned and operated by Ryan Hershey and Eric Zelt, we understand that each family we serve and each life lived tells a unique story. Our goal is to offer comfort, care, and dignity to all who entrust their loved ones to our care. We are proud to call Adams County our home and look forward to serving you for generations to come.
Hi, this is Joel at Decatur Package Liquors, locally owned since 1965. I promise competitive prices and the best service in town. We offer bulk buy discounts for weddings, graduation parties, and other big celebrations. Special orders are also available and highly recommended. Don't forget about Wine Wednesday, where you get the best savings. Come on, guys, it's where your friends shop.
Decatur Package Liquors, with the best service and variety in town, now with locations in Monroe, Byrne, and Markle.
Hi, it's Jessie from Heller Nursery. If you've never been to our greenhouses, now is the time to come. We grow over 4,000 poinsettias, and it's a sight worth seeing. Heller Nursery also cuts fresh greens and makes wreaths daily for the Christmas season. Heller Nursery has a great selection of houseplants and pottery all winter long. Houseplants and gift cards make great Christmas gifts. Heller Nursery is located outside of Decatur, just off of 224. Just follow the signs. Heller Nursery open 7 days a week.
You're listening to Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Wrestling Weekly, talking about Team State on WZBD, Byrne, Decatur, Bluffton, Indiana.
Welcome back once again to the Haggard Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by the Double Eagle at Cross Creek at the Clubhouse Grill. Rex Brewer along with Dane Fuelling, and we're joined on the phone by Coach. I didn't look at the name on the phone.
Coach Johansson from the Hobart Brickies. You guys are in 3A Team State. Congratulations, Coach.
Let's go. We're super excited.
I know that there's been a lot of discussion between you and myself over the last couple weeks, and obviously expanding to 12 teams was a big step for you guys, but this 3A Team State field, it's going to be so tight, 1 through 12.
Definitely. I think all the teams that are getting in and all the teams that are already in are very competitive, and it's a very even field, and it was the right move to do.
Absolutely. And you guys, I know, had a tough loss against Rensselaer Central on Tuesday or Wednesday earlier this week. But if you look at your lineup up and down, I really do think that you're one of the top 10 teams in 3A, and I think you're going to show that here at the Al Smith here in another week.
Yeah, definitely. Hunter Hickman, Rensselaer, they got a tough squad, and those Rensselaer kids are tough, man. And our team, like I said, we have 7 kids that are ranked in the state or semi-state, and we're ready to scrap and bring that region toughness down south.
Now, every once in a while, I wear my Hobart Bricky shirt to school at Belmont, and I get some weird looks. Now, Rex doesn't have one. I just want to make sure that maybe for the Al Smith that we might be able to hook him up with one.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Well, I have a Hobart Bricky connection. My workout partner in college was a state runner-up in 1979 for the Hobart Brickies, and Ronnie Skimmyhorn wrestled with him in college, and good friend, long-time friend, and he's a Bricky through and through.
Yeah, and I actually got the coach of Skimmyhorn, Jaden Skimmyhorn, who was one of my wrestlers, so we got a little connection there.
Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about how you use that Al Smith Classic as sort of a springboard for Team State. You come out of Christmas, you get ready for the Al Smith, and then you've got basically 10 days in between then and Team State to get ready.
So Al Smith, definitely, I would say the toughest holiday tournament, and we have a a lot of kids ready to scrap. Aiden Costello hasn't made it out of the first period yet with anyone. Seth Aubin, definitely two guys that are state ready. And then the rest of the team just staying mentally tough and ready to compete with everyone. And it's always a good opportunity to compete against these big schools, especially at the Al Smith. We have Center Grove and Crown Point, and it's good to show that, you know, we can compete with these bigger schools.
Coach, another question for you. I know this is your first year as head coach at Hobart. How excited are you for 11 days from now in the always exciting Al Smith seating meeting that's coming up?
I've gone to the seating meeting for the past 9 years, and it's
do you stick more to the pizza or the seating? Which one's more important?
seating, definitely. I have a Jets Pizza right down the street from my house, so it's not really anything.
Oh, so it's nothing new for you. I gotcha.
So I know last year Joe Caprino was running the seating meeting, and Steve Sandefur is a good friend of mine, so it's always fun to get in there and talk it out in quotations with other coaches. You know what I mean?
And it's just such a great tournament. I know I can't imagine going to the Al Smith, and I've been going for 25 years now. I can't imagine going to an Al Smith without Hobart being there. And Hobart and Belmont, two of the storied programs that have been competing in that one for decades. But it's just such a part of sort of your holiday schedule.
Yeah, it's Al Smith is a staple for Indiana, and Coach Al Smith is a legend, and it's in dedication of him, and it's a fantastic tournament to go to. And if you ever get the opportunity to go to Al Smith, everyone needs to go.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for coming on our show tonight. We will be at the Al Smith on day 2. And, of course, we will have coverage of the 1A and 2A team state finals on WZBD. But we will be highlighting the seeds on January 1st. And, of course, we'll be highlighting all of the results for team state on our January 7th show. And maybe we'll be lucky enough to talk to you as a state championship coach that day after team state.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for all you do.
That was Coach Zach Johansson of the Hobart Brickies. And, Rex, we have one more call to go to make it I don't know if it's a perfect 12 for 12.
What's a trifecta?
The last
12?
coach told me, call my wife, not me. She's in charge. I don't know what that means, but here we go.
I'll have her number in my phone now.
There you go.
Is that right?
That's it.
It's a Fort Wayne number.
We'll see if we get another voicemail.
You know who it is. I don't.
Hello.
Hello, Coach. This is Dane Fuelling and Rex Brewer from High School Wrestling Weekly. We're calling to let you know that the East Noble Knights are in for 3A Team State.
Hey, that's awesome news. That's really fantastic to hear.
Well, we've talked to all of the other 5 teams who've been invited to the field, and I know there's been a lot of talk about whether to go 8 teams or 12 teams, but I think after talking to some people on the voting committee tonight, you guys had some impressive wins and made yourself in.
Yeah, we've had put together a pretty good start to the season. I like to think that we wrestle a pretty good schedule in the area, and had a lot of pretty solid wins to start things off.
And one of the nice things about building a schedule like that is you don't necessarily need to win them all. You just need to show that you're competitive in those duels. And I know last year you guys beat Belmont. This year you didn't wrestle as competitively with the Braves as you maybe had wanted to. But I think overall you guys showed that you're up there and competing with some of the other teams in that 3A field.
Yeah, well, the 2 we lost, we definitely, we take team state as a goal, and we told the kids, we better show up or we're going to have a hard time getting voted in. And both the duels we lost, the scores weren't really what we wanted, but we were still able to find our way into the field. So I guess the kids might feel like they lucked out on those ones.
For sure. And, sometimes when it really comes down to it, if you're a voter on one of these committees and you're handed a list of 8 teams and you look and there's only 3 head-to-head wins amongst those teams, and you have one over New Haven who was being considered, I think that was a big win for you guys last week at New Haven.
Yeah, for sure. And we knew going into it that New Haven was going to be right there in contention with us, and they have a fantastic team and have a lot of really big names, and our guys were. I feel like we've got a pretty deep team. We don't have many holes, and our guys were able to win that one. And we just knew that with all the teams in the 3A, like there were a lot of really solid teams in contention for it. So I'm sure it was really close vote.
Now, Coach, I'm really interested to talk to you because I believe that of the 12 coaches that we've talked to, you are the only one who has the distinction of hosting a tournament on January 6th. Tell us a little bit about how that's going to work out for you.
So, yeah, I just talked to my AD, and we're going to keep our JV in our tournament, and my assistant. So we won't have the full JV down at Team State. We're going to have all hands on deck at East Noble, and then the 14 varsity kids will be at Team State, and then we wrestle at the youth duels the next day, and the night before, that Friday night, we'll have the girls semi-state. So it's going to be a pretty wild weekend, and a lot of logistics and moving parts, but the Team State event's worth it, and my AD definitely understood the importance of the event, and was willing to work with us and get it accomplished.
Well, Coach, I think there's probably a lot of coaches who are listening right now thinking, man, what an AD to have, because that's saying a lot, being able to rely on them to run that tournament without you being there, and then also, to have that involved of a club to be involved with the elementary duels and all those other things, and then also trying to balance a girls' semi-state the night before. You got a lot going on, but you got a lot of positives going right now at East Noble.
Yeah, thanks. And there's a lot of coaches who are going to be at the girls' semi-state, I'm sure. And it speaks to the staff, too. Nate Weimer's going to be running our tournament. And, he's our middle school coach. He's assistant high school coach. And he has a great, knowledge of the sport. And I know that, this weekend I went with our girls and 2 of my assistants went to the Carroll Super Duel. So I think that really speaks to, how good of a staff that we have, and then that I can totally trust those guys to run our varsity at events.
So, Coach, I have to ask you because I have plans already. I'm going to be at the girls' semi-state at Rochester. How are you handling that as the head coach of a Team State boys team and the head coach of a girls team? Are you going to be at Rochester Friday night with me and then drive south overnight to get to Franklin?
So I'll be at Rochester. My assistant Austin's going to take the team to Franklin, and then there's a basketball game home on Friday, and Nate and our junior varsity are going to be setting out mats for that, as after the basketball game. So, it's going to be a pretty stressful weekend. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of moving parts for us, but we couldn't be more excited about being in the Team State.
Hey, Sam, but that just lets you know, only wrestlers and wrestling coaches and wrestling fans are crazy enough to pull something like that off. They're the only ones you can even ask.
Well, I'm actually driving back from Cedar Point. We had a wrestling tournament that my wife and I got up at 4:30 in the morning to drive to. So us wrestling guys are a little bit crazy,
Yeah, and I don't think enough people realize how difficult of a weekend that is, especially considering that you need to be at Rochester until, who knows, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then you're going to drive all the way to Franklin. We're getting there with the girls, but there's still some really weird. I know a couple years ago I was at Mechaniqua, and
you and I went to
Mechaniqua, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and we're looking at each other thinking, we're going to drive to Martinsville tonight?
Yeah.
And we never thought twice about it, and we loved it. We loved watching the girls have their success and being there. Got to the hotel in Martinsville at probably midnight, but it's all worth it when it comes down to the end of the season.
Oh, absolutely. You know, our girls, they practice right with our guys, and you know, they're working every day. So, you know, they deserve the coaches and the backing, just like our varsity guys do. And like I said, it takes a full staff, and that's what it's going to take for us on you know, the weekend of the 6th. Hopefully with the girls' regionals, it kind of, you know, takes some time away from the semi-states, and hopefully it's a little more manageable.
So, Coach, you and I were both at the official association meeting where all the coaches were there, and I pushed Robert Falcons really hard, and you heard his answer. The goal is girls will be sanctioned wrestling next year, and I feel that he's committed to that statement, and I think all the hard work that you and a lot of other coaches and a lot of these girls have done to get the numbers to the point where they've satisfied all the check boxes that Mr. Falcons and the commissioners wanted, and girls wrestling will be sanctioned next year.
Yeah, it's awesome. We were at a tournament this weekend with there's 200 girls, and we were at Penn, and there we're like 400 girls. So it's awesome to see the girls sport growing right alongside the guys, and there's going to be some bumps in the road and trying to work out the logistics of it all. But like we said earlier, if there's one community that can get it done, it's the wrestling community. We're going to work for what's best for the kids. And I think that's, 300 teams strong that are working for what's best for the kids.
Well, Sam, we thank you for being a great friend of this show. We congratulate you on your invite to 3A Team State and the Wild and Wacky Weekend that's going to be that weekend, January 5th and 6th. And we wish you the best of luck at Connorsville here in another week or so.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. And it's got New Pal and Greenfield Central, and there's going to be a lot of the 3A Team State teams are going to be there. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes into the seeding with 32 randomly drawn teams.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, thank you, guys.
That was Coach Sam Reason of the East Noble Knights. Dane, we got time for a commercial. We'll squeeze a commercial in. It'll be our last break. And let's send it back to studio. Steve Rouse come back. And we pulled off the logistic nightmare of 11 coaches on the phone, one in the house, and great crowd here. And I'd like to thank Steve for running the board, making sure all this gets done. Let's send it back to the studio for a round of commercials. Back with more High School Wrestling Weekly right here on WZBD.
Based out of the Indiana Tech Wrestling Facility, the Warrior Regional Training Center is an elite training center for youth wrestlers, high school wrestlers, and college and senior level athletes. Featuring a college coaching staff with a strong history of developing talent and producing results, Warrior RTC will give any wrestler quality training partners to push them to new levels in the state-of-the-art 25,000 square foot wrestling building. The training is affordable and private training is also available. Put Warrior RTC in your corner this season.
Experience the magic of Evansville, Indiana, where Hoosier hospitality shines bright. Stroll along our scenic riverfront, indulge in local cuisine, and immerse yourself in history and culture. From family-friendly attractions to outdoor adventures, Evansville has it all. Visit the mesmerizing Mesker Park Zoo and Botanic Garden, or explore the city's rich history at the USS LST 325. Ready to start planning your stay? Discover everything our city has to offer at exploreevansville.com. Evansville, Indiana, where memories are made.
Welcome back to the Hager Hershey Zell High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by the Double Eagle. Once again, we're live from Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. And once again, we shamelessly begged for swag from every single coaches on here.
We sure did.
We shamelessly begged.
We sure did.
And I tell you what, I'm wearing one of the new ZBD shirts.
Very nice.
And,
very nice.
I'm the proud owner of about 13 new pieces of ZBD High School Wrestling Weekly swag.
And, Rex, that interview with Sam from East Noble, I think just speaks volumes to what wrestling coaches do year in and year out. One of our lovely members of the crowd here just talked about it. No basketball coach is doing that.
Yeah.
They would expect everything to be laid out for them. This wrestling coach is hosting a varsity tournament at his own school while he's not going to be there, while also trying to manage a girls' team that is wrestling on Friday night at a different location that's 3 hours from the location where his team, who's trying to compete for a state title, is supposed to be spending the night overnight in a hotel. That's crazy. No one else is doing that in any other sport, trying to manage two things. And kudos to every single one of these teams who are participating, who are making the drive, setting up the hotels, the buses, all of those things, and trying to better their programs and to build off of it.
And a big shout-out to all the wives, because I took my wife out to one of our
that was his wife's phone, by the way.
One of our fine sponsors, the Heller Nursery, and we talked to Jessie, and she said that, it's 7 days a week. And I said, you talk about middle school tournament on Sunday. It's like, I forgot they wrestle on Sundays. She's like, it's 7 days a week.
It is. And every time that I try to talk to Eric, I realize that he's not actually at home. He's coaching somewhere. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because 1 minute ago, Eric just sent me a text, an email, asking, hey, what do you think of this idea for next year for Team State? Because these wrestling coaches are always constantly working on how to better the tournament. The IHSAA dropped it, but for the last 13 years, the Coaches Association has embraced it. And I don't know if you would have sat down Trent McCormick and J.D. Minch and whoever else was involved in those very early stages. And if you think about the people who showed up at Westfield that first year or two, and you would have fast-forwarded 12 years to this show where we are talking to all of these coaches who are super excited to be invited to a tournament that they have to turn around and call transportation and figure out how to fund the hotels and tell their teams and change their schedule we're less than 3 weeks away from this Team State tournament.
And some teams have to back out of tournaments that are already in.
Absolutely. It's incredible what's been accomplished, and I'm looking forward to it so much. We have a nice lull here. We have a couple of nice duels on our schedule. We look forward to the holiday tournaments, and then December 30th, 31st, they're going to be spent looking at data, lineups, records, head-to-heads, commons, and when we come back on January 1st, on that evening, we'll be able to call the teams that are the number one seeds. We're going to be able to seed it, and then you'll have 5 days before January 6th, and we crown 4 Team State champions.
And I'd like to tip my hat to you, because we were at the Christmas party for the radio station, and the whole time when everybody else is eating, Dane's on his phone with text to like 12 different coaches.
It was at 27 at one point.
He's got his sheet out, and he's taking notes and stuff. I don't know if he even enjoyed his meal. He enjoyed the big, tall beverage that was there. But to make it all come together, and we brought one coach in-house and 11 on the phone, and just the technology that we was able to bring us all together. And this is just the easy part, getting these extra teams in. Now we
have to seed them.
Have to seed them and have the big reveal show.
Now we have to seed them.
The big reveal show live from the bunker basement of Rex Brewer. And that'll be interesting to see. And that's always a really fun show. And we'd like to thank Joe Caprino for putting those little slides that come together that he puts out on Indiana Mat. And it lets people have a visual, see this come in. And it's as good a well-run show as any.
And I'm excited. We just passed 702 live clicks on our Listen Live link on WZBD.com, most of them in the last hour and a half, as people have tuned in to find out who the teams are that are in. And we're certainly looking forward to all of the banter and talk that's going to come here in the next 10 to 12 days as we look forward to the holiday tournaments. And January 1st is going to be here before we know it.
As always, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors who let Dane and I babble on about wrestling on Sunday nights. I'd like to thank Steve Rouse, who runs the board for us, as he does each week. And with that, High School Wrestling Weekly has completed another show. So tune in Thursday night, pre-match before the Adams Central Belmont match. That is about 5 o'clock, around 5 to 6:30. And a big match, and everybody should come out and attend that match, because it's going to be a historic one. So once again, thanks for tuning in. This has been Higher Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly on WZBD.